What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here from DataDash, and today is March 11th of 2024. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are, because in today's video, I want to signify to you all why I believe it's time to pay attention. As Bitcoin has broken past its previous all-time highs to a new record level at 71,500, and the ETF inflows are remaining strong, altcoin dominance is holding up, especially others dominance, which signifies the more small mid-cap plays. I think it's high time to start preparing for an altcoin cycle. And in today's video, I'm not only going to be talking about those signs that we're seeing, but beyond that, how you can prepare and maximize your returns during this window of time. There's one key play in our portfolio that we already have that's up over 3x since we bought it back a few days ago, and I think that it's got the room to move even further. I haven't sold any yet, and I think it's going to continue to charge forward. We got a lot to unpack here in today's video, so if you happen to enjoy, consider dropping a like. Let's go ahead and kick things off. So let's talk real quick about the signs of what we're seeing here. We've cleared through the previous all-time high here. Not to mention as well, not facing any kind of cool down or sell-off here. And as we've seen throughout history, if we just take a look back at the previous cycles of the past, when we break through those previous highs, we see nice solid moves, usually somewhere in the couple 100% range points. Back here in 2017, more of a parabolic expansion around 1,500 points. And I'm going to go ahead today and keep things relatively conservative. I want to play an example scenario here where we just go on to the six-figure level, the big even level that so many people are looking for, and that's 100K. I think if we go somewhere between the ascending line of resistance, which is another 15-16% move, or coming up here to 100K, you've essentially still got a nice double-digit move of around 15 to 40% for Bitcoin's price. And during that window of time, that kind of value expansion is going to increase not only the market cap of Bitcoin, but also the amount of valuation and liquidity in the broader crypto space. It is going to lead people taking on more risk and more speculation. And not only are we seeing this directly in the ETF inflows, this week we had back on week 9 since the ETF launch was the best week if you exclude week 6. Again, huge buildup here in ETF flows, even with these strong outflows from Genesis through the Grayscale or GBTC product. As those have started to ramp up here, we are still seeing a matching amount of interest in the new ETFs. So this is really good to see. Again, guys, at the end of the day, markets are inflows and outflows. And while we're remaining hesitant about the ETF earlier, right, as we're starting to see these inflows come in now, this is the right sign to see. This is showcasing follow through. And as we talked about, others' dominance here in the altcoin space is continuing to hold strong. The fact that this isn't falling off a cliff as Bitcoin hits new highs signifies what we know throughout history, which is back in December 2020, when Bitcoin throughout there to January was starting to break to its previous all-time highs and start charging forward. That's when it was time to go long altcoins. Back in 2017, when Bitcoin broke through its previous highs between the later part of 2016 and early 2017, that was the period of time to go long on altcoins. When we are in this green pocket here, it is likely favorable to be in altcoins on the total 3 BTC USD ratio. So we've got all the right signs, and beyond taking a look at the broader metric of the altcoin market, we like to hone in on particular narratives. And one of the narratives that has just stolen the stage, whether we love it or not, at the end of the day is meme coins. Meme coins are a huge focus here, guys. They're incredibly viral. And if you may or may not like meme coins, at the end of the day, you cannot deny the price action is incredibly interesting. Doge against Bitcoin over the last 2 weeks has not only made a huge move, but held the majority of those gains, getting the first blue flip we've had since back in October of 2022 on its BTC pair. And when you consider that not only have we seen massive moves that are much bigger than this in the past, but beyond that as well, when we get this blue flip on the 2-week time frame, it is usually an indicative sign of further continuation. This gets me really excited. We held the majority of the gains, we're continuing to charge forward. Pepe as well, another great example. If we take a look at a custom ratio of Pepe against Bitcoin, we are back to the May all-time highs, and we did so in a very short period of time. So anyone who sold Pepe during this period of time is essentially lower from the current entry price that you would be getting right now. So you have a lot of people, again, who missed this move here that essentially are looking for that next technical setup where you can get a flagging pattern here, a cup and handle, where essentially we test the previous highs, we pull back a bit, and then we rip higher in the BTC pairs. Outside of that as well, SHIB, again, just cutting back an entire year's worth of downside in a matter of just 2 weeks. Bonk as well. Again, one that we talked about a lot on the channel, one of the main meme coins in Solana. We talked about watching the 100-day, that range at around 100,000 points here was exactly where we found support, and from there on out we just continued to blow up here from around 100,000 up towards a relative high of 474,000 for more than 4x here in valuations. Absolutely massive moves here, guys, and I think that there's room for some of these large caps to continue moving for sure. I have no doubt about that, but I want to go ahead here today and I want to talk about one of the plays that I want you guys to keep on your radar. It's one in which we bought back a couple days ago, and similar to Meme AI, we've made some phenomenal returns on it. This is Pooh. Now, Pooh, at the end of the day, is based off of Winnie the Pooh. Now, I'm not here to talk about the fundamentals of the meme coin. I'm not here to tell you guys go all in, do this and that. But I got to tell you guys, I like finding good technical setups. I like investing in strong narratives. And what I'm going to be sharing with you here today is a play that I think, at a minimum, having some fractional exposure makes sense to. And this will at least give you, whether or not you decide to trade it or not, a good example of how to approach meme coins. Because at the end of the day, we want to find the plays that could potentially become the next Shiba Inu, the next Dogecoin, the next Pepe, the next dog with hat. I know it sounds silly. It doesn't really make much sense. And yes, it's completely speculation at the end of the day. There's no way to sugarcoat it. But as traders, we are not purely speculating here. We're following off of the price action. We're following off of the moving averages. And yes, we are applying a real strategy to how to trade this. So let's go ahead and talk about that here. Now, a lot of you might be wondering why out of the hundreds, if not thousands of meme coins out there, did I pick Pooh? Is it because I like Winnie the Pooh? No, it has nothing to do really with the brand. I think Winnie the Pooh is a wonderful cartoon, but the main thing I want to emphasize here is that the technical setup here is incredibly relevant. I look at the long-term timeframes. I like meme coins that have a long tail end of history, have a large number of holders, have a relatively decent community, decent marketing. And overall, the thing about Pooh that I really liked, similar to Pepe, is it's one of the meme coins that have been around back since May of 2023. A lot of meme coins have been created during this window of time since the start of 2024. So you don't have much price history to work with. And when we take a look back at history, we can see that some of these coins, as they're starting to recover, they've been at much higher levels than where they're at now. Even at the current time of recording here, right? Even after the move we've had here, we caught our position here at around 1,100 points. So essentially 1,100 fractions of Ethereum, right? And so far, we're right up now about 245%. And a lot of people would think to possibly sell at that level. But I'm here today to talk to you guys about the fact that I think we still have a long ways to go. I think we've got a chance to easily come up to those previous highs, like we saw in Pepe, like we saw on Shiba, and a whole range of plays that are coming back up into that range. And I think that you're going to have the kind of technical pattern where maybe you get a bit of a cool down there, but eventually it's going to spring up higher. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, Pooh itself is a small cap. A lot of people, I think, are going, especially with meme coins, as they're very circulatory. People are chasing the next big thing. Essentially, I don't think people are going to be FOMOing so much into the large caps. I don't think Doge is going to give you the multiple opportunity to do a 5 or 10x. I don't think Shiba or Pepe are going to go anywhere beyond 3 to 5x at this point. Again, essentially, when you get towards larger market capitalizations, it's more difficult to maintain market to scale. You need more volume, you need more users coming in. And I think at the end of the day, right, when we were looking at Pooh, it was around $5 million market cap. Now it's sitting around 16 million. And while that's a big leap up in market cap, in the grand scheme of things, this thing can easily go leaps and bounds more than some of the mid and large cap altcoins, or meme coins more particularly. For this, all it needs to do in order to double is go to 32, and after that, go to 64. So these are still very small market cap ranges when you consider that there are plays, for example, like Doge, which is sitting at, mind you, a $25 billion market cap. Along with that as well, you have plays like Shiba as well, which is sitting at a multi-billion-dollar market cap, $20 billion, not too far from Dogecoin. And you also have Pepe as well, which is sitting at 3.8 trillion. There are a whole range of other meme coins that are in the billion-dollar plus club. The main thing I want to emphasize here is that I think as we go into the altcoin cycle, you are going to be much more favored taking on the more riskier plays, taking on plays that are small and mid caps, that are going to continue charging forward and tap into that strength. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about how you can approach meme coins here in a sound way. The first thing to understand is that with meme coins, I think it's always good to pick up on an entry on a discount. Right, so essentially, if you're looking to, kind of gauge about how I approach price action, right? If you didn't get in before the technical breakout, that's fine. It's not about capturing the absolute low. I paid a premium versus many other traders here, right? A much higher premium, about a 4x premium from the relative lows back in just February 23rd. But I had the cues that made me confident that price was going to continue forward and that we were going to have the technical breakout. From here on out, though, what you can do is look to buy within the pockets between the 9 EMA on the 4-hour time frame, the 21 EMA, and the 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. Right, these are custom moving averages. You guys can set up the multi-time frame custom moving average tool. You can search MTF on the trading indicator suite. You guys can get this and set it up. Basically, you have to go in the gear icon and set up these personally, but it's not that difficult. I think many people will be able to figure it out. The main point is, though, is that as you're watching things on the 4-hour time frame or watching these moving averages, these are the kind of ranges where you see resilience. And the other day, we were up massively on POO in this case for our position, and a lot of people would be gun-ho to probably take profits on it. But the thing is, I wanted to hold out. I felt strong in this. The technical setup for the long term was really nice. So I waited to see what happened when we got that test, that first test of the 9 EMA in the 4-hour. And boy, did we get some serious buy-side pressure. I decided I wanted to average in more to the position during that period of time. So I added more, increased my position by about 50%. And by the time I went to place an order, I got it at around like 2,200. The buy-side pressure was just massive. You can even see it here on the short-term time frame. People came in big time and carried for the price, pretty much reducing all of the previous losses. So the main point here I want to get to is that when you're watching these plays here, guys, I know they can be incredibly volatile, but so long as you apply some degree of strategy, I think overall having some kind of position in and watching how it reacts with these moving averages, and so long as it's holding on these higher bases of support that these moving averages are serving as, then overall you've got more general buy-side demand than sell-side pressure. And so long as that market order flow is leading the way forward, you are going to continue to have higher prices. And you are going to see valuations on these things that don't make sense. But that's the key thing here. It's not about getting caught up in FOMO or being a bag holder. I don't want you guys to do that. I'm not here to show you a coin and just say, oh, hold it forever, never consider selling it. No, keep an eye on the moving averages, but at the same time, there's some really great opportunities here. Like, to make these kind of multiples is phenomenal. Like, in POO, we've made more than we would have just holding Bitcoin during that period of the last year. Now, of course, mind you, I'll be fair in saying that we're not putting our entire portfolio into POO, and I don't recommend you do that either. And that goes for any altcoin or cryptocurrency, even Bitcoin. Don't have all your money in Bitcoin. Like, you got to be smart about this, guys, and you have to understand at the end of the day that while the markets, I think, can continue to be good for a little while, I think we're in a small, short-term Goldilocks period that could continue for the next few weeks. We've broken through the previous highs. ETF volumes are strong. Price action's looking great. At the same time, we don't want to ignore the macro. We don't want to forget about those things. So enjoy it while it lasts. Like, make the most of it here. Have some fractional exposure, because at the end of the day, you can have 1 to 2% exposure in one of these plays. And if it goes to zero in the worst case scenario, if it ends up declining, right? You take a little bit of a loss. It's fractional. It's so small in the grand scheme of things. But the upside potential for some of these plays is massive from a mathematical perspective. So long as the trend is continuing to hold strong here, there can be great risk reward setups here where you can pick these up at double-digit discounts like the one we saw here. Those over 60%. And sometimes you won't be able to get it down to the moving averages. So if you want to just have some stake, you can go ahead and just build a position. I'm just saying here that watching those moving averages, more importantly, as your baseline of support, is the important thing. And if it's holding out strong, then bet that it's probably going to continue going higher. Now, this was the same thing here that we were watching with Memecoins. The other day, we had sold our position roughly here around, I would say, on the Ethereum pair here around 6,300 to 6,400, somewhere in that ballpark, because we saw a retest similar back here of the 9 EMA. And while we got a little bounce off here, it was very clear that there wasn't the same kind of resilience at the moving average. You can see an engulfing candle here on the hourly chart. After a retest there, you can see back here, we didn't even touch the 9 EMA and continued accelerating forward. So I noticed that there was trend weakness. We saw a cool down. We came down to some of the longer term ones like the 21 and 50. And so far the 50 EMA is holding up here. So this is another one you can keep on your radar. I'm not here again just to promote POO. It's the signs we want to look for in price. And the great thing about it is that you can have fractional exposure to many of these plays. But I would say don't have, overall net overall. it depends on your risk profile, but I would say don't be like 50% plus your portfolio in meme coins unless you've got one that, again, is just, continued to accelerate and lead the market where you think it could be one of the next Pepes, right? And you can afford to take that risk. I think it's important. Definitely take some profits along the way. But again, for those plays that are continuing to hold strength, there's no need to sell them. It's just about holding out until you really get weakness within price here. Let it keep riding. Let that base foundation keep going up. Now, we did a video here talking about basically how we go about trading these meme coins here, but I did want to give credit where it's due. I found about Pooh from a person who I've followed in the crypto space for a long time. He's a close friend of mine. He's the founder of Energy Protocol, and that is Tommy World Power. Now, you guys have probably heard me talk about Tommy. We've had him on the channel before, but he's been on the meme coin craze for a very long period of time. And, at the end of the day, I've traded Dogecoin in some of these plays throughout the years, but this is an entirely new sector, guys. I mean, if you take it from back in 2017, where there's really like Dogecoin, and then you go into 2021, you had Shiba Inu, you had a couple other different plays come to the forefront. And then along with that as well, nowadays, you look at the pool of meme coins that are out there. I think the opportunity, the liquidity, the buy-side pressure, the optimism is definitely stronger than it's ever been on this narrative. And at the end of the day, whether or not we like it from a fundamental perspective, we need to realize it for what it is. It's one of the top trending narratives, right? And that's the point here is put aside, like, oh, what about the fundamentals? What about the fundamentals? Like, to be honest, at the end of the day, guys, I love like stacks, for example. I love render. Both of them showing nice price action in the last couple of days, and generally speaking, have performed well over the past couple of months. I like them as much as the next guy. But if we're not being honest with ourselves that a lot of the value increase is speculative in nature, just because stacks may be a functioning protocol with smart contracts and render may have a network where there's actual demand for the GPUs, we got to be honest still in saying that there is a real speculative premium that people are paying here, right? You wouldn't have render, like the render network, for example, didn't really create twice as much value for the world from March 5th here to March 11th. So this is something that I've emphasized on the channel here before, guys. While we focus in on narratives, we focus on the things that actually have some degree of value, or at least we believe that in a year or two out, people are going to pay a premium for, are excited about, more people are going to be interested in. At the same time, there's speculation baked into that. And that's the same with Bitcoin too. Like we can say, oh, there's only 21 million Bitcoin, there's all these things. Guys, look, at the end of the day, nothing is guaranteed in this world. Nothing is the ultimate asset. At the end of the day, there are going to be periods of time where these things expand rapidly and decline rapidly. But overall, we are seeing the right signs here, that there's confidence in price, that the trend is strong. We are seeing plays like XLM, which can make really sizable short-term moves, starting to get yet another build-up here without an ability to get below 200 sats, signaling that it's likely to make a bigger move here. This is, again, another position that we're in right now, and we believe has the confidence to continue forward into a broader altcoin move. And these are the kind of plays where easily you can make good, solid 2-3x bets. I think that goes for render, that goes for stacks against BTC in the event of an altcoin cycle. And man, considering Bitcoin doing quite well during this period of time, maybe even continue to charge forward towards 100K or more, that's great. Those are great opportunities to make returns in the market. So we don't want to miss those plays. And again, I'm not like shooting down the larger cap meme coins. They can definitely continue to expand to some degree, maybe even against Bitcoin. But I think they've already had substantial moves, and their market cap multiple makes it really difficult. If you have a $20 billion market cap going to $40 billion, that's what you have to do to double. You have to add $20 billion market capitalization, which requires a lot more volume in users. I would much rather try to find those plays that are not only showing much better price strength in the short term, but outside of this, well, have that room to really continue multiplying here over the next couple of months and potentially become one of those next large plays. Because if it's that kind of reward profile, you can have 1% in it, you watch the moving averages, and if it continues, your job is done for you, right? You're getting on the early tail end of a much bigger move, right? And this is, again, a big point we've emphasized here, guys, right? You can be in cash for a while, but you can come back swinging in an altcoin cycle, making big returns. And we've had 2 really successful trades this past week, making far better returns than we could have made over the past few months. That momentum builds up. The retail and institutional flows start to pick up big time. Now, one big thing I want you guys to know about here is that as we are coming into the month of March, it is tax season. And whether you're starting to prepare for this year's tax season for the fiscal year of 2023, or if you're starting to, worry about, keeping track of all of your transactions and trades and all the stuff you might be engaging in the altcoin cycle. I know some people will do hundreds, if not thousands of trades. Then it's definitely important for you to utilize a platform like CoinLedger to keep track of everything. And not only can you use CoinLedger, who's our tax partner here on the channel, as a sort of portfolio tracking tool where you can track all of your assets, your performance over time, which is a very important thing to do irrespective of taxes. But beyond that, even more importantly, for tax season, it's important to make sure that you actually send in a proper report to the IRS or other respected tax authority. And it's very difficult to do that on your own if you're using multiple wallets, exchanges, many different DeFi protocols. The great thing about CoinLedger, though, is that you plug in your wallet addresses, you plug in your exchange accounts, you're not granting any trading access, you're just giving read-only access, and it gives a full 360-degree view of your tax profile, allowing you to easily have one-click report generation throughout the platform, as well as native integrations with partners like TurboTax. So this is a really great platform here, guys, and the pricing I think is very fair. You can try out the platform for free. Only when you want to generate your tax forms will you have to pay, and it makes the job so much easier here versus doing it manually. I definitely recommend you guys do this, and you can always, of course, talk with your CPA and still coordinate with any type of certified tax attorney. But I really think overall that CoinLedger is definitely going to be a platform that you guys will want to check out. And you guys can get 10% off on any of the plans in my link down below in the description. It'll help make a big breeze, or I guess it'll be a breeze comparative to what it would be if you were trying to do it on your own manually. And I think a platform like CoinLedger is one in which has been around for a long time in the crypto space. It's got a lot of people using it, and I think it could be something that can help you guys out this tax season. So as we kind of come into close here, guys, I think we're kind of in the excitement phase, the more parabolic phase, where Bitcoin's price is going to start taking off big time. I think that you're going to see a lot of altcoins coming in. It's important to have those things established. Memecoins, deep-end plays like Render, and along with that as well, Bitcoin-related infrastructure. Those are our three narratives. There are also real-world assets. There's also a whole range of different other micro-narratives in the crypto space, but I think these are the ones that are big, and they're the ones that can continue to charge forward and continue providing the best results, because at the end of the day, those are the narratives people are really interested in. So I rambled a good amount here today, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video on Wednesday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care, everyone.